Okay, let's call this Weber County Commission Board to order, dated this 15th day of August 2017 at 10 o'clock. I'm Commissioner James Ebert. I'll be chairing today. In attendance, we have Commissioner Gibson and Commissioner Harvey. We'll start today by invocation by Tim Wentz. Our Pledge of Allegiance will be by Mr. John Ulibarri, and the thought of the day by Commissioner Harvey. Mr. Wentz.
God, we come before you now. Thank you for this opportunity to gather to conduct the business of our county. And we praise you, Lord, for your blessing upon our land and our country. Father, we do ask your help now as we look at these different things before us. And as these men make decisions, we ask for wisdom for them. And Lord, we do pray that you would continue to protect our land, protect our homes, our cities. Lord, that you'd have your way in each heart today. Lord, that your name be honored in the decisions made. We thank you for your goodness now. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Really quick before Commissioner Harvey gives the thought, I just want to say thank you very much for the invocation and for those who take time out of their schedules to come and start us off in the right direction. I think it is comforting to us as commissioners to know that there's community members who will take time out of their day to come and ask the Lord for proper direction. So thank you, and would you pass it along to those that you know that have come and started us out in the right direction. We appreciate that. Commissioner Harvey.
Thank you, Commissioner. What's right in Weber County? I wanted to just look to last weekend. Just the last, not even 7 days. We enjoyed recently the largest county fair in the state, where there were concerts, trapeze acts, horse polls, and a draft horse show that's probably second to none. Petting zoos, thousands of activities for people who are young at heart, and also a livestock auction that it's anticipated will generate more than $500,000 when it's all totaled up. That'll be put back into the pockets of Weber County youth. I know of no other program in northern Utah that does that kind of great stuff for youth. Great thanks goes out to that staff that worked long hours and did such an awesome job out there. And that's just to name a few things. Just right here, a half a block away, within the last week, because of the work of so many, Weber County started Ogden Musical Theater. This is Broadway quality theater back here at a historical building right downtown Ogden, with people who, from the front and back of the stage, did a phenomenal job and are very well respected or accredited, not just throughout the country, but some of them around the world. It was phenomenal. And if you haven't seen it, you have Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of this week to join it. A special thanks to Mari Tarbox, who is very well known, who directed the play. Dean Hurst, who was inducted, and many of you know Dean from the college, Weber State University, who was inducted as the first Pharaoh, an honor bestowed upon Dean during the inaugural night on last Thursday, and also to America First Credit Union, who came through with a great corporate sponsor, a great community partnership for us here. Those two big things happened. I personally know of a couple of huge family reunions. They were only 100 apiece, but at the both North Fork and Weber Memorial Parks that went off very well, and the comments had come back to me that said how well kept and clean the campgrounds were. The restrooms were functional and awesome up there. We're enjoying an economy with home building that's robust. There were hundreds of people on trails and enjoying waterways. Because of decision of this commission in the last little while, the Huntsville citizens are happy and enjoying their summers. That's just to name a few. We are so lucky to enjoy so many options here in just our little part of the northern part of the state of Utah. And I feel very fortunate to live where we live. I love where we live, and I love where we're at, and I love the people here. There are so many that are contributing well. So what's right? Just look to last weekend, and there are countless things. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Commissioner Harvey. Commissioner Gibson?
I appreciate those sentiments. Well said.
I am excited with the resurgence of different types of activities, whether it's theater, whether it's the amazing music that has been brought back to our community, and the excellence in the community musical opportunities we have over the last, several months of Mondays into Mari. I mean, it's just the Joseph and the amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. Woo, it's a hard one for me. Was a lot of fun. All three commissioners were there and truly enjoyed it. And so there's a resurgence of energy into the downtown Ogden, and we're happy to be part of that. So thank you for, again, reminding us of all the amazing things and what a great place we live in. So thank you, Commissioner.
By the way, you mentioned the fair. It's over, but the Joseph Show continues through this weekend. I think it's Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, right? So still tickets available for that. It's worth the time. It's really cool.
I would just touch also, and I had written this down, so I appreciate you reminding me. I went through a little agenda for the fair, and it was like scheduled out to the 10-minute increments of all the activities. And I guess that was Jan Wilson. I guess she's a little OCD, and she wanted to have everything completely lined out. And so, again, the team that was put together and that has been working on the fair and then the youth auction just did a tremendous job, and it went off just, what do they say, swimmingly. So, okay, moving on to consent items, unless there's any other comments. Under F, number 1, request for approval of warrant 1163 to 1166 and 419641-419905 in the amount of $1,102,825.23. Number 2, request for approval of purchase orders in the amount of $94,790.03. Item number 3, request for approval of minutes for the meeting held on August 8, 2017. Request for approval of ACH payment to U.S. Bank in the amount of $133,068.52 for purchasing card transactions made through the billing cycle ending July 25th, 2017. Item number 5, request for approval of new business licenses. And number 6, request for approval of a retirement agreement by and between Weber County and Martha Rivera. Commissioners, any thoughts, questions, or concerns? Due to none, Mr. Hatch, would you give us a report on our warrants and our PO?
You bet, and happy primary election day to everybody. It's a very nice day. So we've had a 20% turnout so far for the election, and of course we don't know any of the results yet. We don't do that till tonight, but things are quiet at the polls, so we want to get more and more people out, or they can drop their ballots off.
Ricky, is that fairly common number for a municipal primary like this? Do you see that trending upwards?
It's definitely higher than it's been in the past. The key drivers for turnout are really what's on the ballot. So if you have a mayoral race, chances are your turnout for your city is going to be a little bit higher. But in typically low turnout races, such as primaries, the fact that we're vote by mail will most likely double the turnout rate. As shown here, we anticipated about a 30% turnout, and right now it's looking kind of close to that, maybe a little bit lower. That's countywide.
Thank you.
You bet. Okay, on to the financial stuff. We had 24 purchase orders this week for $95,000. 30% of that, or $29,000, was for the library, and that was for charging stations. 21%, or $20,000, was for IT, and that was for software. 17% or $16,000 was for special events, and that was for sound and lighting. And then 11% or $10,000 is for the sheriff's department. That's for clothing and medical supplies. Our check run this week was $1.1 million. We had 268 checks. 41% of that amount, or $454,000, was for 911 dispatch on the construction of their new center. 16%, or $177,000, can't read my handwriting, was for the library, and that was for construction of the main library. 7%, or $82,000, was for the fair, and that was service fees. And 5%, or $58,000, is for our roads department, and that's purchasing road supplies. That's all.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Harvey?
Just, I had an opportunity to tour under the part of the partial construction phase of that 911 center, and very well done, but also incredibly impressed with the work that Tina Matthew does over there, not just in running the department, but also running the project, the overall construction project, and just keeping everything in line. It was awesome. So I just wanted to do a little, so to speak, a shout out to Tina and say thank you.
That's been an amazing project, and she's had a very tuned eye to the details that are needed up to and including how sound reverberates within the facility and how to best mitigate that, to lighting. You know, that's a 24-hour-a-day facility, and how lighting interacts with the employees, and so she's done a tremendous job, so I would concur with that. If I could add, again, Commissioner Gibson kind of touched on this, and I don't want to, go too much off from the fair, but it was a tremendous event. I really enjoyed it, but I had an opportunity yesterday to talk to Representative Mike Schultz, and he said that's the best demolition derby he's ever seen. And I know that Jennifer really had a quandary on what to do with funding that and how much we should pay for it. But I just want to tell her that every dollar they put into that was returned in the quality of the event, and a lot of people really enjoyed it. I don't live too far from the fairgrounds, but I could stand on my porch and hear people cheering. They were having so much fun. So again, just a great job all around. It was just an amazing fair. And we didn't even get into some of the events we like the most, which is buying hogs and watching kids show steers and all those things that are amazing. So anyway, thank you. Any other questions specific to the consent items?
I'll make a motion that we approve the consent items as read.
Been moved. Do I have a second? It's been moved in a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? It passes. Thank you. We'll move on to G, action items. Number 1, a request for approval of an ordinance of the County Commissioners of Weber County establishing a procedure for the review and approval of waivers of penalties under Utah Code annotated 59-2-307. Mr. John Ulibarri, who is our assessor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Utah state law tasks county assessors with the valuation of business personal property and the collection of that tax. The valuation includes a statement of personal property from the owner. Under current state law, if the filing is submitted after the filing deadline, the county assessor is required to impose a penalty of $25 or 10% of the tax due, whichever is greater. The penalty cannot be waived by the county assessor, the county commission, or the state tax commission without an ordinance in place to do so. The cost to the county in the effort to collect the penalty for these accounts far outweigh the benefits to the taxpayers of Weber County. Therefore, we respectfully request that you approve this ordinance giving the county assessor the authority to waive the penalty when the tangible personal property is exempt from taxation. Now, Commissioner Ebert, I apologize. Yesterday you asked me a question and I told you something that was untrue, but it was an accident. You asked if the authority to waive was only would only be given in this ordinance to the assessor, and I incorrectly responded yes, it would only be the assessor. That's not true. We would allow the deputies that authority as well, but only under these specific circumstances. If it was exempt from taxation in the first place, it would be applied equally to all taxpayers that fall under this circumstance, so that it's not discretionary at all. So I apologize for that mistake.
No need to apologize.
Okay, happy to entertain any questions you may have about this ordinance.
It shows a good financial responsibility on your part. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
No questions for me?
None for me.
And I would move to approve the ordinance between the county commissioners establishing the procedure for review and approval of waivers of penalties under
Ordinance.
the code. 59-2-307.
Ordinance 28.
28, I have a motion to approve ordinance 28 as stated. Do I have a second?
Second.
It's been seconded. Any further discussion, commissioners? Seeing none, roll call.
Commissioner Gibson,
Aye.
Commissioner Harvey,
Aye.
Chair Eber,
Aye. It passes. Thank you very much, Ms. Ulibarri, for the first item. The second item is a request for approval of a contract by and between Weber County and Narrative One Holding LLC for software that will increase operating efficiencies within the Weber County Assessor's Office. Mr. Ulibarri.
Thank you again, Mr. Chair. The Narrative One software is a report writing program that integrates Microsoft Word and Excel software into one package to create a more compliant appraisal report in less time. It also allows us to compile commercial sale and lease information in a more accessible format. The program will create efficiencies in our office that will allow us to perform more and better work in less time for a nominal cost. The term for the contract is 1 year with an automatic renewal clause at the end of each year. Weber County can terminate the contract by giving the vendor 60 days prior notice. I'm happy to answer any other questions that you may have.
Commissioners, questions?
None for me.
None for me.
I think that we have had an opportunity to talk to you, Mr. Ulibarri, on several occasions about the goal that we have as commissioners to become a much more efficient and lean operations, but still deliver a high-quality service. And I think this meets one of those initial goals that we've had. So we want to thank you for taking the time to identify this as a methodology or strategy to accomplish that outcome. So seeing no further discussion, I'm open for a motion.
So move.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Do we have any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? It passes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Commissioners.
You should come see us more often.
Item number 3, request for final approval of Henry Flat subdivision and acceptance
You don't have to leave just because he did.
of financial guarantee and related contracts. Mr. Charlie Ewert.
Commissioners, thanks for having me. I got used to seeing you in the cowboy hats and jeans. I didn't wear a tie today. I completely forgot we were going to be putting our jackets and ties back on, so I apologize.
I'm more comfortable. I'm in my church belt.
I'll go back next week.
Good. I just wanted to bring this to you. This is a plat that's been in process for quite some time, working with the developer's here in the room if you want to chat with him. But working with the developer over the last couple of years to actually get this one done. And we're happy to present it. We believe it's ready, and the Mylar's been signed by everyone but the commission, and it's ready to be recorded. Any questions for me? I can go into details or not. It's all in your packet.
What are your thoughts? I think we've went over many of these details in numerous meetings. So if we have any questions, be happy to answer them. Okay, I'm open for a motion.
I'll move that we approve the Henry Flat subdivision and acceptance of the financial guarantee and related contracts.
And I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? It passes. Thank you,
Thank you.
Charlie. Item number 4, request for approval to spend impact fees for the Pine View Loop Pathway, Spring Creek Beach, and the Wolf Creek Drive Pathway, Wolf Creek to Eden. Our presenter today is Mr. Kevin Eubanks. Oh, a correction, yeah, McLeod.
Kevin, the weather is cloudy. Thank you, James McCaskey. As presented, I'm sure you've looked over the document. This is a request to release impact fees to cover the costs, some of the costs that have been incurred and that will be incurred in the pathways that are mentioned in the document.
Any questions, commissioners? Any questions, commissioners?
I don't have any.
I have none and would move for approval.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the release of the to spend the impact fees for those particular pathways. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? It passes. Thank you very much. Item number 5, request for approval of a contract by and between Weber County and the Weber School District to provide election-related services through the 2017 calendar year. Mr. Ryan Cowley. I'm not seeing Ryan.
He is not here, but I'm happy to take that.
Oh, well, thank you. I didn't think that you would come down.
They're
That's a joke.
Busy,
'cause
busy.
You're sitting here. Mr. Ricky Hatch, who is our clerk auditor. Thank you, Mr. Hatch.
You bet. These are this and the next item are contracts for our school districts. In the past, Weber County has provided election services for school districts. They have requested that they are both going out for bonding and have asked Weber County to provide the election services so that they can piggyback off of the ballots that will already be going out in November.
Any questions for Mr. Hatch, commissioners? Do we want to put both of these into one motion? Items 5 and 6?
I'm happy to recommend we approve items 5 and 6.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve contracts by and between Weber County and Weber School District and Ogden School District to provide election-related services for the 2017 calendar year. Do I have any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? It passes. Item number 7, request for approval of a contract by and between Weber County and New Era for safety coordinator service for the Weber County Solid Waste Department. Mr. Kevin McLeod.
Thank you, Commissioners. Director Watson is busy today and asked me to handle this. So you're aware of the New Era organization and that it oversees or is involved with all of the Northern Utah waste facilities, or at least a number of them. And so this contract would be with New Era to provide a safety specialist for the northern transfer stations and landfill facilities, waste facilities. Be a common practice. I believe it will reduce our liability. It'll increase our certifications and our eligibility for certifications in safety and accident reviews and all those kinds of things. And so I would ask for your approval to enter into this contract.
Any questions, commissioners? Mr. McLeod, how many facilities do we have in this north end that this safety inspector will?
There was
be
4.
Four. Okay. And we're splitting those costs up.
Yes. It's each entity pays $25,000 a year, and that covers all of the wages, equipment, vehicle, insurance. The individual is managed by New Era, and so it's
Management fees then?
management, all of that.
Is this a request from the New Era as a group, or did Mr. Director Watson have some concerns and see a need and request it?
No, in fact, this began before Director Watson came on. So when he got into it, he knows this person, has worked with this person, and he was very supportive. He said, this is something we really need to do. And after reviewing and talking with him, after reviewing what was going on at the transfer station presently with these issues, he highly recommended that we go with this.
Thank you. Any further discussion or questions, commissioners? Seeing none, do I have a motion?
I'll so move.
Second. I have a motion and a second to approve the contract by between Weber County and New Era for a safety coordinator service. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes. Thank you, Mr. McLeod. Oh, you're here again. Number 8, request for approval of a contract by between Weber County and Rocky Mountain Power to reallocate existing transmission and distribution facilities. Kevin.
This is almost a dream come true. To finally get a contract with Rocky Mountain Power to move those power poles so that we can build the road, finish the road, and construct the road for the sheriff's complex and the new juvenile facility. So the contract is entered into. The amount of the contract, I think if you recall, was originally just shy of $200,000. And we were able to do some work and reduce that cost to about $41,000. So we're pleased to have the contract and hope that we can move things forward.
Wonderful, thank you. And progress, even if it's only incremental, is still progress.
It is.
And we're progressing.
I
so
agree, and I am. The sun is shining. Good.
Wonderful.
So the next step you need in moving this forward is our approval.
Yes.
So moved.
Moved and second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? It passes. Thank you very much, Mr. McLeod.
Thank you.
I'll now entertain a motion to adjourn our public meeting and convene a public hearing. It's been moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. It passes. Now we are in a public hearing on proposed agricultural protection area submitted by Charles Chamberlain and Robert Chamberlain, parcels 18-048-0025 and 18-048-0012. Our presenter, I was saying Fatima before, while I was saying presenter, it didn't work out, is Fatima.
Good morning, Commissioners. So the county received an application for an agricultural protection area by the Chamberlains in the western Weber County area. Noticing requirements were followed according to state statute, including publication in a Standard Examiner, posting notices in 5 places within the proposed area by the Sheriff's Office, mailing notices to property owners within 1,000 feet of the proposed area, and this was done twice. And this public hearing was noticed in the state's public notice website as well. The first publication in the Standard included a 15-day to receive public comments from the public with objections or requests to modify the proposal, and none were received. The application was submitted to the Agriculture Protection Advisory Board and the Western Weber Planning Commission, and their recommendation is for approval. As I said last week, APAs don't change too much of anything. They protect the applicants to continue their agricultural activities. And specifically where there's all this subdivisions development going around these parcels, these agricultural parcels, so that the new residents can't make nuisance calls about the smell of animals or whatever related to the farming and the agricultural activities. The state supports agriculture, and 1741-402 says that a political subdivision shall encourage the continuity, development, and viability of agriculture by not enacting a law, ordinance, or regulation that would unreasonably restrict a farm structure or farm practice. 2, a political subdivision may not change the zoning designation of or a zoning regulation affecting land within an agriculture protection area unless we receive notice from all property owners that they wish to make changes. And the county supports agriculture. Our own Commissioner Gibson was instrumental in passing this legislature. And today the commission can take oral or written comments from the public to, and your motion can be to approve, modify and approve or reject the proposal, and subsequently to an approval and to give constructive notice of an agriculture protection area. A document will be recorded with the recorder's office, and a notice filed with the Planning Commission and the Commissioner of Agriculture and Food in Salt Lake. The Planning Division and the Sheriff's Office will also receive notice of this action. Also, state statute requires owners of new subdivisions to, within 300 feet of an APA, to give notice on any plat filed with the county recorder. Do you have any questions of me?
Thank you. Questions, Commissioners?
And I just want to say that the applicant, Charles Chamberlain, is here. If you happen to have any questions.
Charles, would you would you like to come up? Anything that you would like to add? You're welcome to come up, sir.
She covered it pretty good.
She got it, okay. I don't think we have any questions. Now is the time set aside for public comment. Is there anyone that's attending today that would have any dialogue or comment into the proposed new agricultural protection area? Please come up and state your name and then where you're from, ma'am.
Thank you. I'm Carmen Sinone, and I am from northern Weber County on Pleasant View Drive, unincorporated area. And I rise in support of this proposal. Charles is a neighbor and a friend, and he has a beautiful place. I'd like to see him continue to use it as he chooses to. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there anyone else that would like to participate in our public comment section? Okay, seeing no public comment, we'll now enter into a motion to adjourn our public hearing and reconvene our public meeting.
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded. Any? Oh. Come on up. You're welcome to come up.
I'll rescind my motion.
It's been rescinded and unseconded.
My name is Gay Carter. I am a half owner of the land that borders Corman's land on Lomond View Drive. We've had the same thing going around, and my notice said that today was the day you would decide for me. My brother is the other owner of it's almost 16 acres, it's not quite, and he lives in Boston, so he's not here.
Ms. Carter, we had to change the public hearing for you. And
We
so
did.
I'm going to resubmit another date for your public hearing.
Okay. I wish I'd known that.
But you're welcome to make a comment now.
Well, the land that we're talking about is part of an original Bailey farm that was in existence before there was a North Ogden. It was the part that was given to my grandfather, or sold to him, I don't know how they did it. Then my dad bought it from him. My parents are deceased, and my brother and I now are co-owners through a trust. And it doesn't make enough money to pay for the taxes, but we're willing to pay the difference to keep it a farm. That's what we want.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time today.
And I'm
Can,
sorry, I had no idea I wasn't supposed to be on the phone.
No, you're good. Can we just, that's entered in as record, can we just call that a part of the hearing so that she doesn't have to come back when her item's presented? So that'll make it so you don't have to make another trip.
Is there anyone else that would like to participate in public comment? You're welcome. You can double up if you want.
Quinn?
You'll have to go to the back of the line.
No, thank you. If this keeps us from making another trip, I appreciate that.
Would you just restate
I
your name
am
for the
Carmen
record?
Sinone, live in northern Weber County, unincorporated on Pleasant View Drive. And as Mrs. Carter said, her farm is, my farm and her farm are the last two remnants of a very extensive Bailey farm. Part of that was recognized at the fair as a centennial farm. And I would just rise in support of the Carter's request. Again, I'd like to see them be able to continue using it in the manner that they want to use it. And I may, for the record, state that Gay is also not only a neighbor friend, but my cousin. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other from the public? Well, thank you for your attendance today. I am now open for a motion to adjourn.
Move that we adjourn the public hearing and reconvene the public meeting.
It's been moved
Second.
and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're back in our public meeting. Action on the public hearing.
Fatima, what, do we have this other one scheduled? What day?
I haven't scheduled it yet. It probably will be next week.
Okay. But the posting and the notice has all been done?
I'm going to do a second one with a corrected date.
Okay, perfect. Well, I'll try and save you all the redundancy of last week's discussion on this, but I love the idea of helping to protect our agricultural operations. It's just critically important that we find ways to help agriculture stay in business that are less restrictive and less regulatory in nature. And this is just one that I think makes a tremendous progress in that direction. I just continue to hear more and more, as we talked about before, the economic impact is truly valuable and truly vital to our communities. And the thing that you can't put a finger on is the community impact that sometimes you just can't put a number on. It's priceless. And so we, like I said, we haven't heard very many of these lately. I'm really glad to see a string come in this area, and I hope that they continue. I hope that we have more opportunities to see these great operations and see them continue into the future. And it was kind of fun to recognize one of these parcels at the county fair as a Century Farm. That means it's been in a family, in continuous ownership in a particular family for over 100 years. And that's pretty neat, pretty special, and we want to continue that trend if we can. So with that, Mr. Chair, I'll make the motion that we approve the APA.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
A point of clarification, is that the APA for both parcels, Commissioner?
No, just the one that was presented. The second one we'll hear next week.
So is that 0025 or 012?
Well,
It looks like we have
think
two
it is
parcels
two parcels within the same.
Chamberlains. We have a Charles Chamberlain and a Robert
I
Chamberlain.
didn't understand your question, but
Okay.
yeah.
Then with that explanation, thank you. Just wanted to be clear and make sure it was clear on the record, and I'll approve that recommendation or that
Motion. It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstentions? Seeing none, it passes. So thank you very much. We're now on to I, public comment or other agenda items. I don't see any other agenda items, so public comment. Feel free to come up if you have something you'd like to touch base on. Okay, seeing none, we're to J. Going back.
So move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn. All in favor say aye. Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you for your attendance today. For you true